thought he was the man to lead us through the long night. But I was wrong.
Do you like games, little man?
You would spill blood in this holy place.
The gods won't mind. They spill more blood than the rest of us combined.
Who are you?
No one.
A girl has been given a second chance. There will not be a third.
That's all I think about. What was taken from me.
I know what happens.
There's no hiding from this. We have to fight.
Stand at the head of our army where you belong. Show them what Lannisters are. What we do to our enemies.
The real war is between the living and the dead. And make no mistake, the dead are coming.
Dragons do not do well in captivity.
How do you know this?
That's what I do. I drink and I know things.
Hey, it's KMK. As you can see, Game of Thrones released their second trailer for Season 6, and it's got a ton of scenes and dialogue and shots that are going to be really interesting to go through and break down, and we can see some insights for Season 6 and future seasons, and we'll see what that means for the characters and their arcs. Now, Game of Thrones is extremely sneaky when they put together their trailers. They like to put the dialogue and different clips that don't really match up to what they're saying in the actual season, but give us an idea of what those characters' storylines are going to be like. So to see through this mist that Game of Thrones is putting through, we're going to break down each part of the trailer into a different area, like the Wall, Bran, Arya, etc. And we'll look at them as an individual and take all the different shots across the trailer and link them together so we can see a compact line of what will be happening for that character or that area. Okay, let's start off with Dany and the Dothraki. Now we start off with this expanding scene that we can see a few more directions and point of views from different people's perspective of the dragon flying over the Dothraki horde. From the previous trailer, people were very suspect of whether Drogon was really as big as he was made out to seem. The way that they used that shot where the Dothraki were way below him and he was very close to the camera, he could have been easily disguised to make him bigger. But it is shots like these that show us that Drogon is now immense and a huge dragon that's gonna be fucking up some shit this season. Now we move to this scene of Dany getting stripped down in what I think is Vaes Dothrak for some kind of ceremony or ritual, or to get prepared to like meet with someone like a Carl or the other crones. And other than that, we don't get anything else from Daenerys this season. We get another few shots of Jorah holding his arm where the grayscale is clearly spreading and him looking very worried about it. But other than that, we don't get any Dario, don't get any Dany, we don't get much Jorah. So I think this is a way of Game of Thrones telling us that not much is going to be happening in the early parts of the season, and that Dany's main goals and big action this season will be in the later episodes of the season. Now before we rush through Essos too much, I'm going to go through Meereen, because that is really interesting. This trailer has gone a lot more than I thought it would go into Meereen stuff, and we've introduced the new Red Woman. Oh, it's going to be great. Now we start off with this really dark and gloomy shot of the pyramid scaling up in front of us as this vast entity with a little bit of what could be fire or light at the very top. Now this could be the view that the people who live below Meereen think of the pyramid. They think, oh, this is vast, great entity controlling us who's evil and stuff, and we need to rebel against this. Also, it could be showing us foreshadowing for the dark things that come for Meereen this season. Next we move on to the shot of Tyrion walking down the steps of Meereen towards a group of masters who'd come to talk or discuss or some kind of policy politics. And then we get this dialogue saying,
"You like games, little man?"
Now I do believe this dialogue was taken out of context, but the meaning that it's trying to imply here is that Tyrion has to play the Game of Thrones, with these masters. It also seems that Varys will be helping him along the way with this Game of Thrones and trying to manage and control Meereen, but there will be some oppositions like the Masters and this new Red Priestess. Now I don't know if she's going to be someone who fights against or tries to play the game against Varys and Tyrion, but I know that she's going to definitely have very self-interests or her self-god interests in heart, and they're not really going to be the best buddies with Varys. It'd be like at least an uncomfortable alliance, at most a hardcore shadow war. And we all know that Red Priestess will always win when it comes to shadow killers. Now from this we can definitely tell the Sons of the Harpy will be still actively fighting against Dany's regime with blood and violence. Here we literally get someone scraping their bloody hand across the stones of Meereen, showing the foundations of blood just soaking in.
Dragons do not do well in captivity.
How do you know this?
That's what I do. I drink, and I know things.
Now hopefully Tyrion's coming back to his old, awesome, Hand of the King self where he's commanding the game and checking out witty jokes and controlling the city. Although I'm happy with this development of his character, the signs we're getting from Game of Thrones about the dragon pit and his dialogue is just really frightening. Now if you're a book reader, you can tell that Quentin Martell and Tyrion's storylines seem to be merging to one. I really hope it has a different outcome, because Game of Thrones has been teasing this whole idea to us, but I'm not sure if they're going to pull through with it or not. When we only had the shot of him in the dragon pit, I thought they were just teasing us a little bit. But now they've got the actual blast of fire and this whole lead up to it, it's just seeming a lot more like they're actually going to do it, and they're not going to just be bullshitting us. But wow, does he look so vulnerable and weak in that shot. Oh. Now before we move on to Bran, Arya, the North, the Wall, and King's Landing, all the great, awesome main storylines, we're going to cover some of the smaller stuff that we could see from this trailer. Now most of the things they showed us for the Greyjoy storyline were just repeats what we saw last scene. We saw him on the bridge again, we saw Yara having lesbian sex or kissing, whatever. But then we got this new shot of Yara here, which seems to be a cold, icy island kind of place. It could be anywhere on the islands, but I do believe it's going to be the King's Moot. So it'll be interesting to see how she plays in this whole scenario with the King's Moot. I thought they would kind of like push it aside for this, and then she'd kind of be like fuming and wouldn't show up and stuff like that. But it seems like they're going to pull through and make her a part of it. Next we get a quick shot of Sam on the boat. They're clearly going to be pushing through his storyline. It's going to get to Thornhill and stuff like that. And then we get some more awesome Tower of Joy flashback footage. Now for this we get a far more clearer look at Sir Arthur Dayne, who I believe is Sir Arthur Dayne, and the fight that's going on. He's clearly killing this Northman, which could be any one of the lords. That I'm not sure which one it is, because we haven't really seen their faces and expressions of there's no banners on them or anything. But I'm not sure. A lot of people have been pointing out that one of his swords look a lot more bright, like they could be Dawn, but I don't know. Tell me, what do you guys think? Do you think that is a slightly more bright and decorative sword like Dawn, and it's a Valyrian steel? Or do you think it's just a normal one? Okay, they've jam-packed a lot into the King's Landing storyline, and the dialogue is really great, so let's just crack right into this.
You would spill blood in this holy place.
The gods won't mind. They spill more blood than the rest of us combined.
Wow, Jaime's just taking shots right at the High Septon and his gods, so it's gonna be great. Like, it's pretty hard to argue that the gods that they believe in, the gods that they say control so much of this world, aren't so fucking crazy, and they just don't cause so much bloodshed and death for no reason. They are very terrible gods if you think about it. Next we see Marjorie and Loras Tyrell in the dungeons kept by the Seven. Now they both look distraught, distressed, and they've been there for a long time, and they're clearly bonding together and they're ready to make some actions happen, and they're sick and tired of taking shit. This is reflected again from that dialogue from Davos, which is both for this scene and for Davos scenes.
There's no hiding from this. We have to fight.
That dialogue from Davos applies to them because they're going to stand up. They were like, no, I'm sick and tired of taking shit from the Lannisters, from the Fae, from everyone. I'm just going to join the High Sparrow. I'm going to admit my guilt. I'm going to do my punishment. I'm going to fuck up those who've wronged me. And I cannot wait to just put my feet up and watch Marjorie destroy the whole world. Now we move on to this awesome shot of Jaime just rocking through the camp in this awesome Lannister crimson armor, looking like a boss ass, with that narration saying,
"Stand at the head of our army where you belong."
Now I believe this is when Jaime is doing the siege of Riverrun. Now this is going to be interesting because I believe that Bran and Podrick, because of the flag there, are in Riverrun as well. And because that flag has not been taken down yet, I don't think that Jaime's taken over Riverrun. So Bran and Podrick may be on the other side to Jaime, and that's going to be a really interesting dynamic to work through. But then we're thrown off again because we see Podrick here in the Lannister camp. He is getting chokeholded by someone, which is not the best. Maybe they were, you know, captors or something like that. But it doesn't seem like he was too afraid previous to the point of someone putting his arm around his neck trying to kill him. You know, just casual stuff. Now, with all these dynamics of Jaime going to Riverrun and meeting up with Bran and stuff, I don't believe he'll spend too many episodes in King's Landing itself. I think he'll arrive with muscle his body, he'll talk to Cersei, and he'll convince him to go off to Riverrun and go off to whatever to try and lead the Lannister armies. This gives me hope that he won't fully relapse into his old bad character. Some people like that character more because he's more sassy and great and shit, but I personally like his new developed character because he's more of a good guy, with quotation marks by the way. Now, with Jaime not being there as a weight to even Cersei out, she's allowed to go full crazy, full blommo, full manipulation. Poor Tommen. I don't think you're gonna live this one, mate. Now, is it just me, or is the Sparrow turning more into a hardcore cult than ever before? Now, as history tells us, it's very hard to fight against organized religion, yet alone a full-blown cult that's ready to die and slay for their god / their religion. But from that dialogue of her saying,
Show them what Lannisters are.
well, it looks like Cersei is ready to fight back, and she's ready to fight back hard. Organized religious cult versus batshit crazy woman. Who will win? Okay, from this we can see clear symbolism that she's going to be fighting a literal shadow war against them. Game of Thrones was going to give us absolutely zero room to wiggle around the idea. They're like, nah, this is exactly what's going to be happening this season with her. Can't wait to see some more Robert Strong badassness. He seems like if he's going to be throwing down the pain and issuing the orders. Now, personally, I find it really funny that Robert Strong fits the ideals and the same moral code as all the other King's Guard. Throughout this series, we've seen that the King's Guard just follow out the orders of the King and Queen, or Cersei, without any regard or thought. If you needed something to hype the tension between them, this is it. So pretty much this season, I believe that Jaime is going to come back with Myrcella's dead body. He's going to talk to the High Sparrow, try to convince the Faith not to fight against them, warn them, threaten them, so on, so on. Then Jaime will lose his support to the Tyrells as Margaery and Loras come out in defense of the Faith. Then he will leave for Riverrun, Cersei will become more batshit crazy, throw things, destroy things, obliterate the entire place, and lead to a bloody mess that will probably end in a trial by combat of her. Okay, we haven't had a lot from Arya's storyline. We've had a few little check-in quotes there and there and like a hit in the face, but now we're seeing that her training is going to be intense, awesome, and she's starting to get some real awesome moves. Now, this confirms my idea that Arya is not going to work well with the Faceless Men. I believe that her destiny does not tie with theirs for much longer. She's going to learn these badass moves, she's going to train with the Waif, she's going to become powerful, strong, etc, etc, etc. But then she will not stay with them. She will run away, she'll fight them, she'll kill them, she'll get away somehow and carry on her own path as her own character. She does not want to be no one. Even though she says it, that's why she's getting smacked, because they don't believe that she's going to be no one. She will be someone different, but she will not be no one. And there isn't actually that much we can see from the scenes, apart from that she's been training and fighting and stuff. We do see Jaqen carving the face of that man, so obviously there's going to be more of that stuff, and she will have more tasks and assignments to fit her training throughout this time, but we won't see much of that. We saw her jumping, which was her jumping by the way, stop hounding me about that. And we've seen her fighting now, so she's going to be a lot more than there. They're just not really expanding on it in these trailers. Okay guys, I'm really sorry that I have to make a part 2 to this video. It's already up, it's right there. All you have to do is click the annotation, go through, and watch the second part. YouTube's just fucking me over right now, so I can't make videos over 15 minutes, because fuck me.